They make for great investors because they are risk aware. To my brother, it was, listen, you have to run a household beyond just the budgeting. That data does not necessarily mean that it's a woman who's opened a Demat account. Our money is getting invested, but it's done by my father. Only 1 out of 10 women were like, okay, I take a call on where my money should go. Her first thought is that how do I save it better or how do I budget it better? 70% women didn't have health insurance, and I'm talking, this is the mass middle income of India. Woman wants whatever is the solution to be very time efficient.
Hi, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Moneywise on NDTV Profit, and I'm Alex Mathew. If you're a woman, I've got a question for you. Do you manage your own finances, or is it something that is done for you by your father or your husband or your partner? And if that's the case, would you do it differently if you were managing your money yourself? And if you're a man, if you've been managing the finances of your partner and yourself, a question to you. Have you contemplated what your partner wants with her money? A lot of our interactions with money are driven by our early experiences. And while many stereotypes are being challenged now, young boys are often spoke about the earning mindset, the ability to provide for a family. Girls, on the other hand, are spoken to about having a saving mindset. How are you going to be able to run a household if you can't budget, is often the question that is asked. And the point is, that shouldn't necessarily be the case. Joining me today is Priti Rathi Gupta, founder of LXME. Thanks so much, Priti, for taking the time. And the reason I wanted to talk to you is because the business that you are in is effectively financial planning for women, by women. And I thought, who better to have this conversation? Do you agree with the setup that I had, in that the way that boys and girls are talked to about money, even today, is often like that?
Absolutely. So I think this is where the problem stems from. It's our social conditioning. It's a very implicit messaging that we give in our households. I come from a household that talks money all the time. But even for me, the implicit messaging was that you've got to be a great homemaker, manage your budgeting really tight and be careful about your spends. But it was never, whereas to my brother, it was, listen, you have to run a household beyond just the budgeting, but all financial needs, you're responsible for everything that a family might need, right? So financial security should come from you. Our schools, our colleges, they teach you how to earn money. They don't teach you how to manage your money. And, and I'm just like, I keep thinking about this all the time, that say, just like we learn science in school, we learn, mathematics, if we actually learned money management, from there on, I think that gender differentiation or that gender bias around money management would completely disappear. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. And the truth is that every woman, when she starts earning her money, her first thought is that how do I save it better or how do I budget it better? It is not about growing the money. I mean, I have interesting anecdotes. I've run Anand Rathi for many, many years. And we would recruit fresh chartered accountants every year, about 100 to 150 of them. These are qualified accountants. And, when we did the induction, my first question would be, it was a room full of boys and girls. And it would be, how many of you manage your money? And the boys would all raise their hands. I do trading, I do intraday trading, and I've managed 20% return, and I've managed 30% return.
And these are all 22, 23-year-olds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're just, very, very young. This is their first job. And the women hardly raise their hands. And then when I would ask them that, what do you do, when you earn money? And they said, oh, we do, our money is getting invested, but it's done by my father or my brother. And, it was just very, very disturbing. But I think that aside, I just feel that inherently, women are great money managers. And I think that's more disturbing, that you have all the attributes, but you're not doing it.
So let me ask you this, and before we get into the ideal scenario, some parts of that are changing, and the data is showing that incrementally a lot more women are coming to the fold. and I'm talking about mutual fund investing through
Sure.
equities, etc. The SIP book,
Sure.
a lot more women are going down that route. Why do you think that is? Is it because of conversations we're having right now? Is it because more people are aware of the need to separate their finances?
I think they're both the things, but there is one more thing, and I think that we completely miss out when we look at data around how many women have come, how many mutual fund folios do women have, or how many Demat accounts do women have. So, for example, on Demat accounts, the data is amazing, right? So, from total Demat accounts, we've gone from, I think, 2-3 crores to about 15 crores,
Yeah.
right? But the women Demat accounts have gone from maybe, I think, 60 lakhs to about 2 crores now. Right? So if you look at in the overall picture, it's still a very, very small percentage. And having said that, that data does not necessarily mean that it's a woman who's opened her Demat account.
That is a thing,
Right?
because when the SEBI came out with its study, I remember very distinctly that one of the headlines read, women are better traders than men. And then it came out that it's maybe not the women that are trading, it's their husbands that are trading on behalf of them.
Absolutely. So I think it's very important to try and understand how many women are actually making that decision, or it's just their money being invested on their behalf by somebody. And we've done, and because this data was not really available, we actually did a LXME and Women Money Power report, which actually we did it across 8 cities. We met 4,000 women.
Oh, wow. So what are the questions that you asked, or what are the insights that you were seeking?
Absolutely. So we were exactly figuring out that, while the data says that 30% of folios today in mutual funds or 30% of AUM is held by women, right? But do 30% women really invest their money? And that's what we aim to sort of go and find out. And I mean, the results were not shocking, but they were, even for us, I think they were a little surprising.
So what are some of the key insights that you got?
So very interestingly, about, I think, almost 96% women said that we don't go and access any financial tool, financial app. 70% women didn't have health insurance, and I'm talking, this is the mass middle income of India. So it's not even, I'm not talking to low income women. These are women who are earning their money, and across 8 different cities. When it came to investment, almost 60% of them had no clue of where their savings are going. About 1 in 3 women knew, okay, I know that my money is being invested, and only 1 out of 10 women were like, okay, I take a call on where my money should go.
1 in 10?
1 in 10. So when you look at the 30% figure, you should take it with a pinch of salt. The way I would convert it is that maybe 3% of that AUM is what women are actually taking a call on. They are the ones who've taken a decision on where this is to be invested. And then that number just seems
very paltry.
It does. And I have to say that, the reason we started Lakshmi was, of course, there was this mission, but just look at the opportunity.
It is a fantastic opportunity. But let me ask you this, and please, and stop me if I'm making stereotypes. This is not my intention. The intention is to help people understand how to manage their money. But in the interactions that I had, even in the newsroom before I had this conversation, because I was seeking insight on what the challenges were. And one of the points that was made, even by women who are managing their own money, is that they say, look, when it comes to running a household, even if both partners are contributing and are working towards something, my priorities are entirely different. I look at my child's needs, for example, and I look at the cost of their education first, and I will then look at my own needs. So in order of priorities, it's very different. Whereas the man will think maybe, hey, you know what? We need to save for our retirement, or we need to save for a new car. Or a new house, or a vacation, several other things. So the question to you is, in your interactions and the way that you deal with women, is this one of the foremost reasons why you think there needs to be a separation in the way that they manage their money?
I mean, definitely we need a differentiated platform. And, I think over the last 3-4 years that we've started LXME, the one question we get asked all the time is, why do you need a different platform? Why do you need a separate platform? There are so many platforms. But I think there is the need to, there is a latent, unmet, underserved need. And the way you sort of find a solution for that is, build it as per the behavior of women, the way they look at money. And you very rightly said, right? They will always, if she's a mother, it will always be about her children, about her family, and then, she comes at the end. So the other sort of highlight of our study was when we asked women that, are you thinking about your retirement? 2% women said yes.
Wow.
Just 2%, right? So I think that is one behavior, but I think there are finer nuances to it. So for example, when women look at money, they're actually not talking about returns. They're not saying, I want a 20% return, I want a 25% return. There's no sort of aggressive stance to say that if I manage my money, I'm in competition with the world. It's more about saying, okay, this is my financial goal. This is what I want my money to achieve. So it's, again, using the same tools, same products, but I think women are looking for different outcomes.
So I have a difference of opinion here, and this is obviously based on anecdotal evidence. I don't have mass studies to go by, but in interactions that I've had over the course of the last couple of years, I've had my own partner's friends who've come to me because of the industry we're in and saying, look, my aunt is getting 23% XRR or return over the last 4 years, and I'm getting 18%. I want to get that. So are these mutual fund schemes correct? So there is that as well. There are women who are having these conversations. What I want to understand from you is, from your interaction, a lot of people tend to say women are risk averse. Do you agree with that in the sense that, are they incapable of taking risk?
Absolutely not. So I think they make for great investors because they are risk aware.
Okay.
Right? So I think there is just a very, very small percentage of women who are aware of the nuances of the financial world, and they will come to you and say, okay, I want this percentage of return. But a large population, and this again comes out of our research, that she's thinking of a child's education, she's saying this is what I want to achieve with my money. When a woman puts her money, she wants to know what it's doing. She wants to know where it's going to go, what it's going to achieve. And that is a great attribute, actually, because we've seen how men and women build trust, and you're part of the financial services industry. You hear so many men and women. Men will build trust with a transaction. Yeah. If I get a great opportunity in your office today and I say, listen, I have a platform that will double your money in 6 weeks. I bet you all the men will say, here is 1,000 rupees, come on, right? Or more.
Right.
But the women will come to me and they will ask me questions. Oh, where is this money going to go? When am I going to get it? What is the security? Whom do I reach out to if I don't get this money? So I think women are asking a lot of questions that will actually tell you that they are very risk aware. And what has been lacking is, financial services has been talking in a very male-coded language.
Yes.
And I think what they're looking for is information that is relatable, that is suited to their behavior. And I think that's where the gap is. So
let me ask you this then. Because you've been doing this for some time and you've been interacting with so many women, you've been giving them financial advice. When a woman looks for financial advice, what are the few questions that she needs to be asking? And of course, she will have her own. Sure. But broadly, what are the contours that you think that the conversation should have?
Well, I think the contours are essentially, so I think one, a woman wants whatever is the solution to be very time efficient, right? So as opposed to asking which are the top mutual funds I should invest in or the top scripts I should invest in, I think for her, and we've seen this because we've built LXME based on her, her needs and her behavior, is what do I need this money for, and how long can I keep it away? very interesting. I think asking a woman what's your risk profile is harakiri. Because then she's saying, I don't want to risk my money.
Right.
There is no risk profile, right? So I think you have to really sort of, the way she should ask about it, and the way we as financial advisors should sort of explain it to her, is that there is always risk involved, but there is time that will mitigate, especially when you're in equity. Whereas for your short-term needs, what are your needs, what are your goals, and therefore, tell them where the money goes. So I think for her, it's important to ask, what are my, these are my financial goals. This is when I need my money. Where is my money going to go, which she definitely asks. And what is my, sort of, when I need the money, how quickly can I get it?
Important.
And the last and the most important piece is that this is my goal. How do I meet it? Where should my money go in order to meet this? And also try and understand what is the risk-adjusted return that I'm looking at for this. Now, all of this between you and me is very jargonized.
Yes.
That's not how she would ask it, right?
Yeah.
But these are the broad contours of
Sure.
how she needs to.
And that's what I wanted you to establish. Now, while we're doing this, and while we would both, and I think a lot of people would love for more women to come out and start asking these questions and be desirous of managing their own money, there are social norms that prevent that from happening. So the question from the male perspective, and a lot of men tend to think like this because of the way that they're brought up and because of the way society has been for generations, is that no, the man will control the money. The man will be the breadwinner, even if the woman is going out and earning. So whether we like it or not, in a lot of cases, that is the situation.
Sure.
How do you have a conversation with a man to help them understand why it is important for a woman to manage her money?
That's a great question, Alex. And I think it's very important for us to have, for men to be a part of this conversation.
Yes.
I have to tell you that, the millennials and Gen Z, I think men are just as keen. I always share this, that when we started LXME, we had this post which said, a man is not a financial plan. And it really went viral. And we were really thrilled. Oh, women are like, they are getting it, right? They sort of relate to this. But it was actually a lot of men who liked the post.
Interesting.
Because they are saying, share the load, right? Why am I the only one responsible? So that is changing. But I'm still talking of a very urban audience,
Sure.
right? As you go to tier 2, tier 3, there is still a very, very strong social conditioning and I would say like a friction point for a woman to even ask, can I manage my money, right? And I think we've had enough instances, and now we have to share data with men when we talk to them and we say, look, increasingly, the way life is, we've seen COVID happen. You don't know where life is going to go. You definitely don't want to leave your wife in a jeopardy. I mean, very recent, and I know that you're a Liverpool fan.
Yes.
We've seen that tragedy happen,
Yes.
right? You have 3 young kids. If the wife doesn't know how to manage money, what's
Yes.
going to happen to the family, right? So it's very important to sort of, get the wife on board of all the financial decisions that you're taking. I think the way we actually address it is even more interesting. We actually say that, I've heard men complain that give a woman money and she'll spend it, right? It's not right. And no matter how, it gives us these, sort of those anger pangs. But I think if you actually tell him that if a woman is on board of your wealth management or your financial planning, it actually is even more successful because she exactly knows where your money is going, what are you saving for, and it's literally like your financial plan is a car with 4 wheels, and not just your partner or spouse, but even your kids need to be onboarded, and they need to know, okay, that we all have to work in sync. We have to roll in tandem for it to actually happen successfully. And that actually works very well.
I've experienced this myself because, and you pointed this out to say that men and women approach investment decisions very differently. The questions that my wife, for example, would ask are entirely different from what I would ask. And so the nuance that she adds will force me to think in a certain way which ordinarily would not take place. So very important points that you're raising.
In fact, I'll just come in here. The core of Lakshmi is a community. We realize there's a problem even for women to have money conversations. There isn't a safe space for them where they can ask questions. I mean, go to a room full, go to any room which is having a conversation on a financial product, you'll barely find women, right?
Yeah.
So they fear asking those questions. So we realized that was the need, and we created a community. And you'll be amazed at the questions that come in at the community.
Like, for example?
For example, so there are product-related questions, but there are questions like this: how do I frame, how do I ask my husband how we are saving our money, or how we are investing our money, or we live in a joint family, and I have no clear answer to what is our financial security once the family separates, right? And I think every woman at the back of her head, she sleeps every night thinking about her financial security and financial freedom, but doesn't know where to ask, whom to ask, how to frame it. And there are a lot of behavioral and emotional questions that actually don't get answered.
So, and you said it, right? Because in so many cases, and I think in most cases, the finances are so fused and so inextricably linked together that breaking it apart at this point is very difficult to do. So if that is the case, Priti, then how does someone do it? Does it happen incrementally, or do you have to take a decision and obviously with your partner's consent and with their approval, move forward and actually separate finances?
Well, I think the way it's probably not our place to sort of suggest that, but what we do tell every woman. I'm talking about an ideal
situation.
Yeah, what we tell every woman is, just like physical fitness for yourself, you have to do it. You can't ask your husband that, can you work out for me so that I get a little bit more, fitter or healthier. Financial fitness is something that you have to practice for yourself. Begin small. I mean, today we live in a world where, all financial products are supremely democratized. You have digital access to it. Begin with maybe just 100 rupees. Though you may have lakhs to invest, because it helps you build trust. Start small, and you will realize, and these are your small savings which you're possibly putting somewhere else, or you're buying, things with it. Instead of that, use a part of it to just understand how you will navigate this landscape. And once you're invested, it's like you're put into the sea, you will learn how to swim.
We're nearing the end of this conversation, but I do want to get your insight into this because you've interacted with so many women. How do women bring into a conversation their own needs? For example, I've interacted just today with so many women who've said, look, my partner does not understand that I have a 10-hour, 11-hour job, and then I have the emotional baggage of taking care of a house.
Right.
And so the roles are not necessarily equally managed. And my own requirements are not necessarily taken care of. Take maternity leave and the break from work, for example, that is not necessarily fitted into a financial plan. So how do you incorporate those conversations?
So I think, firstly, the most important thing is that I think representation of women who are talking money creates relevance.
Okay.
We need more women talking money, whether it is from the industry or even amongst each other. I mean, that is why a community serves a great purpose, where women see other women talking money. They're like, okay, they can do it. It's great. It's relatable. I can do it. I think the other piece around it is, how do you create a very time efficient platform? Because that's, you're saying exactly this, that a woman is saying, I have 100 things to do. But I have my financial needs.
Yeah.
So how do I get there, right? If I leave it to my husband or my father, they will do it well, but will that incorporate my financial goals? Probably not, right? And women, I think we all know life goals are so different. I mean, there's not just one final retirement. There are many, many retirements. We talk about gender pay gap. We've done this study in Lakshmi where, average woman who starts her career with a 4.5-5 lakh journey, 4.5-5 lakh salary, loses about 2 crores over her earning life
Wow.
stage to gender pay gap. But she loses 5 crores because of the suboptimal choices she's making with her
On
money.
investments. Yeah.
Now, while we are solving for gender pay gap, this is something that's in her hands to solve.
Yeah.
But I think just creating that relevance and saying it does not need hours to manage your money, and she has to do it herself if she really wants her money to achieve the outcomes that she's looking for. And there is, in a family, I think, with a spouse, with a partner, there's
Always
I think
an
having a
opportunity.
financial date is a very good idea. Sitting down and discussing money.
Yeah.
But managing it also on your own is just very, very important.
On that note, Priti, thanks so much for taking the time for speaking to me.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Well, some of what we've said today and spoken about, you're going to have opinions about. And I'd invite you to write to us on our comment section and let me know what you think. Do stay tuned. Lots more coming up on NDTV Profit.